how did you get into filmmaking?
Like most Indians, I'm also an engineer.
Because you really value the freedom of your own way of making films.
Didn't think film school taught me anything about cinema, to be fair. The film I made is based off of a book. It's not directly everything the book says, and the book is called The Door in the Wall. My film school teachers did read the script, they hated it with a vengeance.
Did you decide from the start that you want to be the editor or? Hello, everyone. Welcome to Round the Frame podcast, where we dive into everything related to cinema, filmmaking, and storytelling. I am your host, Molshri, and today I'll be talking to Harsh, who has made his short film, The Blue Door. It was part of Round the Frame Recommends, and also it won an award for Best Editing. Now, before we move forward, I would like to introduce what Round the Frame uh, short film competition is. It's also a platform for talented filmmakers to submit their work and showcase it and get the right people to watch it. So Harsha's film was part of that, and it obviously blew my mind when I saw it recently. So welcome to the podcast, Harsha,
Thank you.
and congratulations on winning.
Thank you again. Yeah,
You edited your own short film, right?
I did, yes.
And it won the best editing. Nice. So, before I have a lot of questions because
Mhm.
your film has somehow encapsulated like a whole lifetime in 10 minutes, and that too without dialogues. And it was a very emotional journey as well. So, I couldn't ask for anything more from a short film, honestly. Like 10 minutes, that's a lot that you're giving me. So, I have a lot of questions to ask, but I would like to first start with how did you get into filmmaking?
So I traditionally, more like most Indians, I'm also an engineer.
Hmm.
But then after working for about 5 years or so, I just wanted a change. I wanted more freedom in life because I was constantly working towards the goals of others.
Hmm.
And so I moved to the US to study filmmaking, and I made the film as a part of my film thesis in film school. Uh, but now I kind of changed my mind. I don't think film is as free and independent as I used to think it was. Just because by the end of the day, you're still working towards other goals. Like if you work in the film system, the mainstream film system, you still have bosses, you still have to listen to others, you can't do whatever you want. So that's where I stand at this moment.
So are you so are you working for someone else also and also making your own films on the side? Is that
So I do not want to work in the film industry. I do not want to make films in the production system that we
okay?
have. I
Mhm.
just want to make my own films if I have money, and if I don't have money, I won't make films, and I'm okay with that.
Got it, got it. Because you really value the freedom of your own way of making films.
Absolutely. And that's the only reason I wanted to make films in the first place.
Got it, got it. So is it difficult to um, raise funding and make independent films because this is how you've made the Blue Door, I'm guessing?
Yeah, so I put my parents' money, and my parents not are not very rich. And specifically, when you convert like rupees to dollars, it
Got it.
becomes like exponentially more. But also, I did get help from my school. I applied for some funds from my school, and they gave me a little bit of money, so I was able to make it. So yeah, but outside of that, I was never able to raise any funds. So
Got it. But I think it's important because you've also attended school there that you have a peer group and like who are friends, so who come on board the filmmaking process,
yes.
not just for money and you know to have that community basically.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's the most important thing about film school. Outside of that, I didn't think film school taught me anything about cinema, to be fair.
Got it.
Whatever I learned about cinema is from YouTube, is from random people on YouTube. But what film school did give me was that like a small group of people that I could work with and make films.
Okay. So how did you get to making this particular film? Did you make short films before this, or this is your first?
I have been making short films for a long time, but like terrible short films with like the phone and stuff like that. But so this the film I made is based off of a book. It's not directly everything the book says, and the book is called The Door in the Wall, and it's by a famous author. I forgot his name though. But I read that book when I was about 22, 23 or something. But it just stuck in my head. Uh, and when I moved to the US, which was almost after 7, 8 years since I read that book, I wanted to make that film, but I only wanted to make that film based on my memory of that story, but not the actual story in that was told.
So what you
So
took away from the story, basically your
S- s-
perspective.
So by the end of the day, I think the film is left to your interpretation. It is your film. Once the film is made and it is out there,
Mhm.
your interpretation is as good as mine. But
Mhm.
my personal interpretation is that when I was a child, I was truly free because my parents were there to protect me. They were like my gods always by me and they were protecting me. And I was so free back then. I just didn't realize it. But now as an adult, I can see how not free I am.
Hmm.
Uh, so it's just like a memory of the past that I wanted to revisit through the film.
That is very interesting because that is a very strong point of view that you have about life, and it comes across in the film really well. Like, even though I might not personally believe in that, but I could feel it viscerally because we've all felt that joy in our childhood of just exploring, and then there there is the adulthood suffering. So, it's a mix of live action and animation.
Correct.
So, how did you arrive on that? Was it on a writing stage, or were you later like, I need a different thing?
No, it was always that was always the plan because just the forms itself, live action, you're constrained by the reality of the world we live in, right? But with animation, you can explore. Your animation can break all boundaries. It can be whatever.
Hmm.
And that's why we wanted to use animation to represent childhood, to represent the freedom,
Hmm.
but live action for like adulthood.
But is it also like how did you get the animation done? Because that must have been the most expensive part of the film.
It was the most expensive part, and I had to work with three different animators, two of which didn't work out, and
Hmm.
I spent a lot of money. And both of the animators that didn't work out were American animators.
Hmm.
And in the US, like hiring an animator is extremely costly. And
Hmm.
so finally, I ran out of money to do the animation. So I had to reach out to Ilahe, which who is the director of animation, and she's from Iran. Uh, and so finally we managed to like work it out, and I had to pay her with Bitcoin and stuff because the US wasn't letting me pay US dollars to Iran at that point in time.
So this was remotely worked out.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Was that difficult to communicate or like?
So, um, luckily for me, the animator was really amazing,
Mhm.
and I wanted her to take the freedom and do what she wanted because I wanted her to be free as well. Because if the movie is about freedom, I can't be sitting here and telling her, "Oh, you have to be constrained through my like frame."
Hmm.
So she did a good job. I gave her the freedom, and I just gave her notes. But outside of that, she was free to interpret the way she wanted to interpret and make it the way she wanted.
Right, her own design and visual
Yeah,
language, so to say.
absolutely. Yeah.
There's also the protagonist that you have chosen is a black man. So,
Yeah.
how did that come by? Did you get inspired by an actor, or like was it something totally different?
So at that point, like didn't really care. It could be anyone. It could be white, black, Indian, doesn't matter. But I did see three actors that kind of looked similar in the way they look. So I just thought they could nicely fit into being like the versions of the same person.
Great, great, very nicely. I was like, how did you find the actors? What are they your friends, or how did you go about the casting process?
No. We had auditions,
Okay.
and then we just invited people, and luckily they just ended up there. So we were like, okay, it worked out.
Nice, nice. And how was it like? Because there are no dialogues, so how was the writing process for you? Um,
So my film school teachers did read the script. They hated it with a vengeance, just because the script was bad. Even though the story was all there in my head, the script, like in written word, wasn't that great because I'm not very good at expressing myself through words.
mhm.
Uh, yeah, no one was like psyched about it except for me. So you know, so the writing process was more about it wasn't about presenting it to anyone. It was for me to like understand what I needed to do on set. And that was all there was to the script.
Did they give you any feedback that you incorporated, or like you just went with your own gut then?
I did incorporated one little feedback. Uh, and this was not by any teacher, it was just by like a random friend of mine. It was just that flashback in the beginning, the very first sequence where the protagonist goes back into the past,
Hmm.
the very first shot.
Correct.
Yeah, that was the one that was a part of the feedback.
I never saw the animation coming when I was watching that film. Uh, I was very curious what is going to happen because he's not looking at the signatures that he's making. So I was like, what is happening? I want to understand.
Yeah, the idea behind that was he has been doing this job for so long that he doesn't need to think anymore. It's just like mindless work. Sometimes when we do something for a long time, we don't think about it, like brushing our teeth and stuff like that. We just don't think about it anymore. So when work also becomes like that, you become dispassionate about what you're doing. And we wanted to bring that forward, but I'm not sure if people got that or not.
Yeah, it came across. And I'm sure like you must have had a great time with the actors also because they have to just emote like visually whatever is happening.
So one other lucky thing that happened was that all three of them were from the theater background, so they are used to making their emotions bigger for the stage. It was slightly easier for them when compared to
Hmm.
regular film actors. That's my assumption again. So that's what I was thinking.
So did you have any challenges during the shoot with regarding to the actors or like crew, or what was your process shooting?
Mhm. So no, the crew was absolutely great. I didn't have any challenges with the crew and all of that. But the one challenge we had was that the door, it was like a real door that we had to carry around, and I didn't know how to drive a car and stuff like that. So uh, I had to like ask a friend to rent a truck for that, like a U-Haul. So we had to put the whole door in there and move it around. And finding the door was really hard because the modern doors were looking too modern. I wanted like a slightly more run-down, broken door, like an old door.
Hmm.
So just like moving the door was like the toughest part of the
So you
whole
got
thing.
the
But
door
outside
late,
of that,
or did you find it eventually?
we did find it eventually. So someone else discarded an old door
Hmm.
from some other film set. So we just like borrowed it and gave it back.
Nice. But you were also shooting on like locations. Like,
Mhm.
was it allowed? Did you get permissions to shoot outdoors? Oh,
So
you had to
no, we
do it
didn't.
also.
We had zero permissions. So we just like shot in completely random locations, and one of the locations is it was shot in Chicago, by the way. and one of the locations was Little India in Chicago. So when it's like a Indian neighborhood, like no one cares. So so we just like went with it and shot. And one other thing we wanted was that smoke coming out in the background. Two of the locations had that smoke coming out in the background, so we picked those locations.
But you had no trouble like people inquiring or stopping you like did you have big
No,
equipment or did you have like smaller camera?
no. We had small equipment.
So that
Yeah, and we didn't have any sound person, so like it wasn't too obvious that someone was standing there. We just stood at a distance with the camera, and no one was really noticing, and then we just shot it.
Oh, so that must have actually made it easier, right? Not recording sounds.
Yes, it absolutely made it easier. Yes.
Nice, nice. So how long did you guys shoot? Like 2, 3 days or was
Yeah, I think it was about 2 weeks, but it was broken down. Like, but the actual shooting days, I think, were about four days. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Uh, got it. And okay, I have so many questions. There are a lot of metaphors, obviously, in the film because there's no dialogue. So you have just uh, um, stuck with having a partner in life, the a significant other, and their journey, like meeting them, getting married, and then eventually them passing away. So you've just kept it very simple, like through one thing.
So the passing away is not actually their partner. The passing away is the father. Uh, and there is a little connection there. So if you watch the animation, when you see the father has like a orange, like little thing tied on their hand. And in the end, in the hospital sequence also, they have that little thread tied on their hand.
Oh, my bad. I missed that.
That's
Okay.
okay. That's okay. I mean, even if you think it's their partner, that's totally fine.
Okay, but that makes sense because yeah. Yeah, that was also an interesting part for me in the animation sequence that you have not shown faces of other characters purposefully and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so the death of the father is important for me personally because uh, that was the last straw that connected the protagonist with the past, and with the death of the father, it kind of like increases the gap between the protagonist and the past.
Right, right. And once he comes out of that hospital is when no, we go back to where he was sitting with the clock. And there he
So
found.
once he comes out of the hospital, like the door doesn't show up.
Hmm.
So he just like cries, not just for not being able to see the door, but also his father passing. So it's like a culmination of multiple things.
Hmm. Got it, got it.
Yeah.
Um, and how was then the stitching together of the film for you? Did you decide from the start that you want to be the editor or
Yeah, I did because I think it's like an extremely important part of storytelling outside of writing the story. I think editing is like the second biggest storytelling tool you have. So I absolutely wanted to edit it. And I watched the film like hundreds of times, and now I can't watch the film anymore. I just cannot.
makes
Yeah,
sense? Yeah, yeah. But you must have been involved in getting the sound and the music done with the other people also. So how was that
so
them working with them?
it was really interesting working with them. So music was given by an individual composer called Ryan Moore. And uh-huh.
Is it original music or?
It is original music. Yeah, yeah. It was really nice working with him because all I had to tell him was my side of the story or how I was looking at the story, and asked him to interpret the story and give it the sound that it needed. This is music, sorry, not sound. Music it needed.
Hmm.
And then he just did it, and I liked it, and I said that works. And he was really nice also. He said just give me 1 or 2% of the budget, which was very small, so it was just like a couple of $100 that I gave. It was really sweet to work with him. If I get a chance, I'd work with him again. And then there was this sound.
Hmm.
The sound was also really interesting to work with because I had no idea how to convey my ideas to
Hmm.
the sound folk. Um, I wanted their interpretation of the sound in the movie, but it was so off track just because they came up with this modern like. Have you seen these trailers with those
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
whoosh and bang and all those things, that kind of thing, and that wasn't what made sense for the film, I thought. So I had to like tell them specifically what I wanted, and I had to give them examples of Tarkovsky. I think there was this movie, Tarkovsky's movie. I forgot the name of the movie.
Mirror.
Uh-huh.
The mirror.
Not the mirror. There's another one where a bunch of people go to a train station and random things start to happen. Uh, I can't remember the name of the movie, but that movie had like some amazing sounds to it that conveyed feelings. And
Tarkovsky's film have like sound.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, it's really amazing. But I had to like, but I still like wonder how Tarkovsky conveys his ideas to his crew, like because I just feel like it's impossible. I tried it, and it was so hard for me to tell them what I wanted. But eventually, I just like told them I want this specific sound, picked samples from random places and sent it to them, and I said I wanted this over here, over here. So it was more of like a hand-holding situation with the sound. So
got it.
yeah.
But as you mentioned Tarkovsky, did you have any inspirations for this particular film? Like you mixed live action animation or like any way that any other film inspired you for this film?
For this film, uh, I don't know. Did I have? I mean, I feel like inspiration naturally comes. Like if you really like a specific kind of cinema, with or without knowing, you start to use those kind of elements when you make films, I think.
Mhm.
Um, so I'm sure there is inspiration, but not consciously.
Got it. But any favorite films or filmmakers that you would want to share anyway with us and the listeners?
So one of my favorite in terms of how their films look visually, I feel like I'll be like a slight cliche here, but I can't remember a single name right now. What's the legendary Japanese filmmaker's names?
Ozu.
Uh, who?
Ozu.
Ozu is one of them, sure, but the other one, the Seven Samurai, Ran.
Yeah, I also can't remember. Wait.
Why can't I remember any of the names right now?
But
But
I understood. Hmm.
Kurosaki, wait.
Kurosawa.
Kurosawa, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I also forgot. Right. Hmm.
Yeah, I personally think their visual language is incredible. That's my favorite visual language in all of cinema.
Hmm.
Uh, so yeah, there if I could even if 1 or 2 frames, if I could like tell stories like they do, my life is complete.
Hmm. Got it, got it. Any recent films that have made you feel that way?
No, recent films, no.
Got it, got it. Um, and what? So okay, you completed the whole editing and post production and how long did that take you? Like,
So The animation took about 2 years because just because it was like one animator, and when it comes to animation, they have to draw 23 frames. But I mean, maybe not 23 frames per second, but I think they skip like one or two frames in the middle, so it'll be around 16 frames per second. They had to draw, even if the animation is 3 or 4 minutes, 3 or 4 into 16 images, 3 minutes into 60 seconds into 16 images they had to draw. So this was like thousands of images they had to draw. So 2 years seems not too much, to be fair, unless you do some AI animation or something like that. But outside of that, like if it's a human drawing, I think that's totally fair.
So editing, you finished the editing on your end, and then you got the animation, and then you stitched it together, or
So I was getting the animation as I was editing. I got one or two pieces of animation before I started editing. When so the editing process also took like for a while. It took about 3 to 4 months. Just because I wasn't getting it right, the film wasn't smooth. Just because we are just moving into the past and coming back to the present and all of that, so it wasn't smooth. So it took like a lot of time, and then I was sharing cuts with the animator, and they were also making decisions, and it was yeah, it was a bit of co-editing, but I was making most of the decisions.
was it? Did you change the structure in the editing, or did you like retain what you had written?
I did change some parts of the structure, I think. Because I was experimenting with different things, like should I just show the whole of childhood at once, or should I keep cutting between animation and live action? Yeah, I was basically editing because it was just like a timeline I had, timeline in terms of this person, the protagonist, and then it's just about like moving around their life here and there to see how it can flow.
So you had the scenes that represented every stage, and then you were open to
Experimenting with the time, yeah, yeah.
Oh, nice. Um, and how was the reception after you made the film? Did you show it to your film school teachers? Who?
They were neutral. Uh, so only one film school teacher liked it. He used to teach experimental cinema to us. Um, he was the only one who liked it. The others were like, yeah, it's fine, you know. So film school is like I just have no respect for film school, to be fair. Uh, I'm just glad like they gave me some money to make the film, but outside of that, if I could redo the whole thing, I'd just make the film,
Hmm.
uh, and not go to film school.
Hmm.
So yeah.
That is true. If one goes to find the resources of, like learning how to make a film, there is a lot of things available online now. And maybe you
Absolutely.
also recommend anything that you found very useful, because I'm sure a lot of aspiring filmmakers and people who are making their first short films or short films in general would also like to know if something helped you. Uh,
I really like the videos that Studio Binder puts forward.
hmm.
But it really helps, and it recently also put forward Rajmouli's dance sequence for Natu Natu.
Hmm.
So they had like an explanation of how Rajmouli was thinking about like visually designing the whole sequence of that song.
They battle the British in the forest and ultimately conquer their common enemy.
Shoot!
Each of these major story beats is wrapped in an action sequence. By doing so, Rajamouli gives the sequences an emotional core that advances plot and character development. And the most dramatic character beats are enhanced with epic action. With the emotional foundation laid throughout the story, how does Rajamouli structure these individual set pieces?
And it was really interesting. I think they put forward really good material. One other resource that I really like is called No Film School.
Hmm.
Yeah, so those are the two resources I really like. Outside of that, I think random YouTube recommendations and stuff like that.
Got it. Studio Grinder actually has everything from writing to shooting, everything they've got covered. So,
Yeah, they've got it all covered, but it costs a lot of money.
yeah.
Um, to actually buy this stuff. But their free resources are what like gives like a lot of value, I think.
Yeah, I was not talking about the money wala stuff. I also was talking about the free stuff because I have seen their videos on writing and characterization and like starting from the very basic, like what if a person wants to make a film, they can go to their YouTube channel and possibly, flesh out their script.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Did you send your film to any festivals? Like, what was the journey after you were done? Or how did you?
I got into one or two film festivals. One good film festival. I mean, not like good, but one that I thought was like a reasonably good film festival was Julian Dubois Film Festival, which is like a small town in the US. It is a French colony in the US, but it has like a strong art and film culture. So that was the only one uh, that I remember. Outside of that, maybe like one or two smaller film festivals. But I am okay, like even if nothing happens, as long as I did what I wanted to do, I'm okay with that.
Did you have any goal in mind when you made the film that I want this film to be seen widely or do the festivals or recover your money or what was?
Recovering money would have been great, but I had no expectations of that. Uh, and just after receiving feedback from my professors, I kind of like knew that like not it's not necessarily for everyone. Like if people don't like it, it's okay. There's no problem. So I had my expectations tapered. Um, but I wanted to make the film, and I'm just glad I was able to make it.
And we are glad, well, I am especially glad because I watched it and it really got me thinking. First of all, I was like, wow, that's such a beautiful thought. And now what am I supposed to do with my life? But I was very impressed with how visually you've shown one man's journey from childhood all the way to old age. Yeah. So is it online somewhere? Or where can we watch it?
I haven't put it online, but maybe I should at this point. I'll just upload it on YouTube, I guess, or Vimeo.
Yes, and once you do, please let us know. We'll also share with this podcast. We'll also share the link.
Okay, yeah, then I'll put it up sometime today or tomorrow and send it over.
Awesome! What a great day! It is finally going out to the world. Awesome. And are you work? So you said you want to make your own films and not work for others.
Yeah.
So are you writing something? What's the next?
No, I just wait for. So next thing I feel like I am inspired by is so I just completed for the second time Ayn Rand's Fountainhead. I think that's an amazing story. Again, it's not for everyone. I know lots of people hate Ayn Rand just because of her philosophy and stuff like that, but I couldn't care less. I like it. And if I could, I'd probably like make that, but that's far into the future. So, for now, I'm free.
So you get a lot of inspiration from books. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it has to come from somewhere. So, yeah.
got it, got it.
I mean, not just books. So if I read Ayn Rand maybe like 10, 15 years ago. I don't think I've ever been this inspired. But now that the state of the world that we live in is the way it is, that story made sense to me at this point in time.
So you want to make like a full length film if possible?
Maybe a TV series. Maybe I don't know what will come out of it. If anything will come out of it or not, I don't know. But we'll see what happens.
So, are you not working in films right now? You're working as an
No.
intern?
So I am working towards becoming an AI engineer, but that's again a long journey to get there. From I was in mechanical engineering, but getting there is a long journey. But I genuinely think the next evolution of the art form is coming. Like it started with painting, then it moved to photography, then filmmaking, and the next evolution of cinema is coming. And my assumption in it is through AI or something like that, but it is coming, and there's no getting away from it.
Do you see if you can integrate your dual inclinations in one AI?
I think so. I think so. I really hope AI is everything that we are told it is, just because it'll truly make filmmakers free. They would not have to depend on these huge budgets that they have to get from some production company. They can truly, like YouTubers, they can be free and actually make films all by themselves. So I am from Andhra Pradesh, and in Hyderabad, there is a small neighborhood where there are lots of these aspiring filmmakers. The 4 or 5 people live in like a small house with the dreams of making films and stuff like that. And 99.99% of them like never make films because they're stuck. No one wants to give them money. I think these filmmakers would be empowered to finally be able to make films without having to rely on others. And I think that would really make filmmaking one of those free art forms like music, like painting, like all of these things. And I can't wait for that day, to be fair.
Got it. It will make it more accessible, basically, is what you're saying.
Yes, pretty much.
So,
Pretty much, yeah.
I think with the introduction of smartphones, many people have now the access to shoot a film. With AI, because there are a lot of things that can transform with AI, right? There's the writing part, there's the actual shooting, working with actors part, and also the post, especially I think VFX and those things.
Correct.
Which part do you think AI will help with the most?
So I think everything outside of writing. I think writing is one of the most personal things that is in filmmaking, because a story comes from like an individual's personal experiences, and their experiences are so personal that AI can't just like generalize these experiences and put forward stuff. AI will write great stories. They'll be fine, but they won't be as personal as the stories that come from humans, I think. Unless AI becomes sentient and it also has its own personal experiences. That day might come, but I don't know if it will come or not.
Got it, got it. But how hard do you think this future is where one person sitting on their laptop from start to end can make a whole film using AI?
So my expected timeline is anywhere between 5 to 30 years. I think between that time period, I think that will happen.
Got it, got it. I think a lot of people are already using, Mid-Journey and also like ChatGPT for writing. So I think
Yep.
in the next 5 years, something definitely will change, but not like so drastically.
So with AI, we just cannot say. It's like predicting how the internet would have moved forward in the past. We just don't know how long it would take. it might be really quick. For all we know, in the next 2 years, people will just be making full scale cinema with AI. Or maybe it just won't happen until like we are like 60, 70, 80, 90 years old. We just don't know with technology.
Right, right. That is the question. I think actually a lot of films have represented AI as mostly bad. It's the antagonist. So it's an interesting take that we're looking at the positive side of it, that how it frees us.
It will it it's again, like by the end of the day, it's a tool, and the tool would be used for good things and bad things, in my opinion at least. I think there'll be a lot of lazy filmmakers that will also come through it, where they'll just be like, oh, you write the story, you do the editing, you do special effects, everything, and then the story will be like one of these cliched, generalized stories that has no personal touch to it. But also there'll be others who use it for when it is needed, and they will like bring forward good movies. By the end of the day, it's the humans that are still like making those key decisions, whether it's a good movie or a bad movie, I think.
Hmm. I mean, there are so many things for the AI to do. Can it do all the boring tasks instead? Because I've already heard that, podcasts are being edited through AI. They can detect the sound and edit according to that. So it's moving pretty
I
fast.
think that, yeah, I think so. I don't know if you have used Premiere Pro recently,
Yeah.
but Premiere Pro has like text editing in it. So you don't even have to look at the images anymore. You just edit the text, and the images will be like the whole timeline will be edited based on the text itself.
Oh.
Uh, so it is right now available on Premiere Pro. So you could try it specifically for podcasts. I think that's a great idea because you don't have to keep looking at the faces all the time. You just like look at the content and start editing it.
Okay, so basically I get a transcription and I edit that.
You just edit the transcript. That's it.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, there goes my use of editing knowledge. It's not. I think communication becomes helpful at this point because a lot of people are also using Chat GPT for writing, but I and Midjourney or whatever. What's that? That is making the moving images now. I forgot.
Sora.
Yeah, yeah.
Sora.
Sora. So I think it is still a game of communication where you need to describe and communicate what you want. It just can't be very lazy also.
Yeah. I think, yeah, by the end of the day, like communication, I think will be the most important thing. Like even now, like for example, in the way we make cinema, by the end of the day, the director can't sit and like do everything on the set. He or she has to communicate to the other creatives that you're working with. So I think that has always been one of the most important aspects of cinema. Now it will be even more important,
Hmm.
I think.
Uh, any takeaways that you have from making the Blue Door in relation to like direction, as you said, communication is very important, or anything that stayed with you after you made the film?
I think like making the film itself was like the most fun thing I've done. Anything that came before or after is just like an afterthought. But like making the film was like where I was having the best time of my life. So yeah.
That was a realization you had afterwards that it
Yeah,
really.
yeah, that it doesn't.
Hmm.
So before making the film, before I went to film school, I was like, oh, I need to win awards and film festivals, all of that. But after I made the film, I really didn't care that much. Like it didn't matter.
Right, because it's the process that you enjoy.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Wow, that's very that's very nice to hear. Because we also keep chasing after, some future reward and tie our happiness to that, and then it becomes kind of, sad to work.
And specifically with film festivals, it's a small group of people that have to like your film. And that small group of people doesn't represent everyone in the whole world that might or might not like your film. So tying it to that, and you don't even know who these people are, what they would like, what their tastes are, what their experiences are. So I think it's like really futile to like tie your so your film is a success in and itself just for being out there. Its success is not related to a small group of people liking it, is what I think. If you are happy with your film, I think that's all that matters.
Yeah, I think yeah we put a lot of our worth pinned on those festivals, that validation that is coming from them. But I think it is important for the film to reach audiences. Otherwise, it uh, yeah, that's the ultimate test, I guess.
So I wonder about one thing. This is just my question in general. Why does a filmmaker want people to watch their film? It's a question I've been asking myself. I have no answer to it. So why do we want our film to be watched by others? Do we want appreciation? Do we want human connection where other people connect with the film? That means they're connecting with your experiences. I'm not sure about the answer, but I think that's an important question to ask ourselves.
But did you, after screening it for other people, did you find somewhat the answer? Like, did something work for you?
So one of my friends that I really respected, he's also a really good filmmaker. His approval meant a lot to me for some reason. So I'm starting to think maybe it's to do with the people that you care about connecting with the film rather than everyone. So I don't know. I still don't have an answer for that, to be
I think
fair.
it's a good question because every person has can have a different answer. Maybe it's just about expressing yourself, and that expression reaching other people. Now, liking or not liking is not in our hands,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah, yeah. I mean, there's one thing that I remember Tarantino saying. I think it made a lot of sense. He said, if no one watches my film, then what is the point of even making that film? And that's a very, very valid perspective. And that's why Tarantino's films are liked by a lot of people. He specifically makes his films so that a lot of people like it. But there are other people like Tarkovsky, like say for example, how many people can actually sit through a Tarkovsky film? Everyone can say, oh, Tarkovsky is a great filmmaker, but I have never been able to sit through a full Tarkovsky film, even me, even if I enjoyed it. It's just what it is.
Hmm. Right, right. Well, now I'm thinking, why why are we making films for audiences? I think there's obviously like the business end of it also, that you need to sustain yourself
Yeah.
while getting an audience.
Yep.
I think you have to find your own personal in, uh, and for you, I think it's the process, the whole process that uh, of filmmaking that you enjoy. So in the end,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I think that's actually that got me thinking. But anyway, any advice that you would like to give to upcoming filmmakers, like from your
Oh,
experience?
yeah. My biggest advice is don't go to film school, don't waste your money, don't go to art schools at all. Art is free and you already know how to do it. Like, you are the one who frees art. Art will not free you. That's what I think.
That is very empowering. I think, yeah, I think this also combined with the thing that, validation doesn't need to come from anything above, and then you define for yourself. I see a philosophy that you have about life
So
also.
I'm not even sure about what my philosophy is. I'm still exploring. I'm still trying to figure out what even my philosophy is, to be fair.
Hmm. And are you thinking of if you make more films, you will be making it in the US or coming back to India?
So, so that is one other thing.
Hmm.
I am more Indian after I came to the US. I have never been this Indian before.
Hmm.
Because when you're in India, you take things for granted. You take things for, like, India is such an amazing country, and then you just don't realize it until you go to a different place where things are different.
Hmm.
And my dream is to hopefully come back one day. We'll see how that works out.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, I definitely, like, India is like, it's one of the greatest countries in the world, in my opinion, at this point.
So you
I wouldn't
might
have said that 5 years ago, 5, 10 years ago.
you might come back and make films here as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Because India has so much to offer in terms of just the texture of the world we live in. Um, for me, the US, it's a fantastic country, lots of money, everything is really nice, but it doesn't offer visual texture. It doesn't offer cultural texture as much as India does, I think.
Hmm. All right. All right. But you went to the US to study filmmaking, right? That's
Yes.
good. But over the years, you felt like you.
I felt I wasn't able to appreciate the beauty that India offers as far as filmmaking goes.
Hmm. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have never tried thinking about it like that because I'm an actor. I don't understand what the visual texture means. Matlab, I can see it. To me, it looks chaotic at times, and I wonder how people, frame it and everything, and the colors are also, different. I think that's.
Uh,
Hmm.
that is what is interesting to me, that it brings a sense of chaos. It brings a sense of color to a frame. Just put your actor in a frame. It brings so much to the frame. Here you have to actually have extras doing all of those things that you want them to do. But India naturally just like gives it to you, and you can go film wherever without getting permits and all of that. That's one other amazing thing about India. Here, specifically in LA, if you have to like shoot on the road, there'll be like police. You have to put a bunch of money to getting the permits. Just go make films in India, and India is the best place, one of the best places to make cinema at this point in time, I think.
Awesome. So I think all the filmmakers who are right now in India will be now inspired to go out with their camera and be like, okay, let's.
Perfect. We need more of that.
Yes. All right. So I think this would be all. It was
All
great
right.
knowing your whole journey and of this film and your filmmaking journey. Otherwise, also, and please do share because I am sure people would like to watch it, watch your film, The Blue Door. And anywhere that you would like to share with the listeners that they can follow your work on Instagram, your socials, or that also you can share.
So I don't have. I got off socials just because it's such a like disturbance. But yes, I'll definitely like share the link to the film.
Awesome, awesome. That's great. Okay, thank you so much
All
for
right.
coming.